Hi Pisces, and welcome to your reading. This is a full moon in Sagittarius tarot reading. It's going to be short and sweet. We're going to have a look at what the full moon in Sagittarius is leaving for you. I am using the Tarot of Curious Creatures by Chrisanne, so let's get into it. The whole idea of this reading is that full moons naturally help us release things. They help us gain clarity by bringing a lot of light, by shedding a lot of light. And they also help us understand our feelings, or just they kind of bring more awareness to things that are bothering us or feelings that we need to address. So it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes these are good feelings and we just got so wrapped up that we forgot to cherish that good feeling. The Sagittarius aspect is going to be interesting in your sign. You share a ruler, which is Jupiter, and Sagittarius's influence on the new moon is that it wants to sort through the emotions so that it can just get to the fun stuff. It wants to have fun. It wants to shed the old and just experience the new. So what does that mean for Pisces, our last sign in the zodiac? If you have a Pisces sun, moon, rising, or any other Pisces placements, this reading is for you. Spirit, how is the full moon in Sagittarius impacting Pisces placements? Wow, lots of cards. We have the King of Wands coming out. I don't like to take cards until I've set my intention, so we're definitely getting cards very quickly for you, Pisces. What is the full moon in Sagittarius leaving for Pisces? So at the time that I'm filming this, it is June 12th. The full moon is over and we are officially closing out the cycles from the previous moon cycle, preparing for a brand new beginning. The waning moon does give us the chance to examine what we need to leave behind, what we need to bring to a conclusion, so that we can essentially embrace the new cycle of life. The moon does this every month, almost like clockwork, every month. So what do you need to leave behind with this waning full moon? The thing that I'm noticing here, in the middle of your spread with the Eight of Wands, Pisces, you need to leave behind expectations of how quickly things are going to get done. It seems like you're prone towards beating yourself up when things aren't done either in a timely manner or when you're simply not able to follow something through. You're allowed to set your intentions and then change your mind. And you're also allowed to change your mind because your capacity has changed. If your energy is simply not able or stable enough to execute, you have to honor that and be honest about that, and also consider that moving forward. It seems like you're very likely to feel a little out of order, as though you have all these ideas and you just can't put it down. Now, the Eight of Wands is a frustrating feeling. It can feel like, again, things are just up in the air. We can't make sense of what we want. We can't make sense of how we feel. We can't hold on to motivation. And no matter what we do, we're just not able to make other people happy. And that's where I think it's really affecting you, because the people that you're trying to please seem to have very big plans for you or about you. And you within yourself may have very big plans. Look at this King of Wands ominously sitting next to that Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands reversed is a chaotic energy. It's an impulsive energy. It's the type of energy that has these wonderful passionate outbursts, these wonderful passionate desires or ideas. And before you can even finish speaking, it's changed. And it might start with good intentions, but we just can't focus or channel that energy in order to execute and finish. And so the King of Wands is sitting here saying, there's a reason why this is happening. The King of Wands isn't judging the fact that you can't finish things. The King of Wands is saying, hello, it's not right. If it's not meant to be, and if it just can't happen, we can't force it to be. And your sign is very much about that. Whether you have a Pisces sun, a Pisces moon, a Pisces rising, any other placements in your chart, the wisdom of Pisces knows that certain things are out of our control. And if we energetically can't see something through, the best thing we can do is go back to the drawing board and set more realistic expectations rather than expecting our energy to suddenly get boosted. Sometimes a good night's sleep isn't enough, and often with a full moon, your sleep is affected. So you're either sleeping too much and feeling even more tired, or you're not sleeping enough and you're waking up feeling all out of sorts, like you just can't focus. And so the King of Wands is here to say that the full moon in Sagittarius is trying to encourage you to be more realistic about your expectations. Don't force things to happen. Don't force plans to eventuate. Use these unfinished cycles to come up with a more realistic way forward, to understand how your capacity has changed, and to also just manage yourself better. The King of Wands is a strategizer, is a planner, but the King of Wands doesn't like to act until they feel like they have a solid plan, until they feel like things are aligning. And the King of Wands, as the master of energy, always prioritizes energy. We don't go by other people's timing. We go by when it feels right for us. And sometimes you can't put a date on that. You can't put a time on that. It's a knowing. It's a connection to yourself that you have to honor. And so I do feel like this full moon in Sagittarius is encouraging you to honor that connection and to not beat yourself up about it. The other thing with the wands, and especially the King of Wands with this lion head, is that when we aren't performing as we expect, when our energy isn't high, when it is low, we let it affect how we see ourselves. And it can affect our self-esteem, it can affect our confidence, it can shatter our ego, and it can make us think that we're just not capable. And so our self-efficacy drops to an all-time low. All of these things impact our motivation. And so the cycle just continues once our energy is low. And so we have to be patient, kind, and give ourselves grace. Be more realistic. Instead of beating yourself up, simply address the fact that your energy is low. Now, one of the things that could be impacting your energy, Pisces, is this Five of Wands. You have a lot of wands in your energy, a lot of fire. And the thing about fire is, yes, it is opposing your water element, but it is also a big feelings sign. It's a big feelings element. Water, which is what your sign is a part of, is often associated with emotions, but fire, being associated with energy, can provoke strong feelings that can quickly pass. So what we're seeing here with the Five of Wands is the full moon in Sagittarius bringing to your attention some external tensions, other people's opinions, other people's expectations, and even in some cases, envy and jealousy that is creating tension, that is creating problems that shouldn't even exist. But with these people having such loud voices, they get our attention. And so the full moon in Sagittarius is showing you how you need to be more careful about who you give your energy to. Who do you give your attention to? Who do you exchange energy with? What are those people rubbing off on you? Are these feelings helpful? Are these energetic exchanges helpful? Or are they creating more tension? What can we do to change that? How can we protect ourselves better? And do we need to distance ourselves from people who just don't have the right energy right now because they're not coming from a good place? Even if they think they are, even if they think they mean well, I don't think their 2 cents is helpful for you, Pisces. It's creating more tension and it's making you feel worse. And it's also, because your energy is low, provoking you to stay in this low energy. Instead of uplifting you and boosting you, it's actually stressing you out and it's making you more of an unfriendly Pisces. And Pisces, at this point, you can get very moody, you can get very quick with it, and you can even have outbursts. When someone pushes you at a time when you're already feeling low, you will say and do things that you regret, and you will hold on to that, and you could turn that into a grudge that doesn't need to be. So make some positive changes here to limit the amount of input that these people have in your life, but also so that they're not impacting your peace unnecessarily. Now, these changes are about protecting your energy, but it's also about examining the relationships in your life. With Justice reversed, the full moon in Sagittarius is trying to show you how you're not in fair situations. Multiple relationships or contracts or business partnerships in your life are negatively geared towards you. The other people are gaining at your expense. And so the full moon in Sagittarius is trying to show you how this isn't right. And it's going to continue unless you do something about it. Whether that's about getting professional help, whether that's about having a conversation and just saying, hey, it's come to my attention that you've been cheating, or that you're not paying me as much as you pay my other colleagues, or you asked me to work on Saturday because you said I had to, when really you could have asked somebody else. It's come to my attention that this situation is not fair, and that for some reason you're almost bullying me or picking on me instead of simply holding your end of the bargain. Because this Justice card represents harmony, the only way it gets to this point is if somebody else isn't doing enough. And instead of them having accountability and following through with what they should be doing, they're trying to get away with doing less by making you do more. They're trying to make it look like they're ticking their boxes by giving you more responsibility, more work. And so the full moon in Sagittarius is trying to highlight this, not just to make you angry, but to show you how this isn't right and it's not going to change until you do something about it. Now, this is a horrible situation for a Pisces to be in because you guys don't react quickly. You're very easily kind of taken advantage of in these situations. You like to just sort of sit with it and you wait until enough is enough. And so this could have been happening for some time, but this full moon in Sagittarius is highlighting how it's nearly at its breaking point, sweet souls. With the Knight of Wands reversed, you are being strongly encouraged to be more aware of your energy, of how your energy is being at times taken advantage of how the fact that you're so ready to show up sometimes is being taken advantage of, and of how you need to ask more questions instead of just saying, yes, I'll do that. With the Knight of Wands reversed, there are going to be some short-term changes to how you react and respond. And that's going to be enough to figure out a long-term plan. In the next 7 days with the Knight of Wands reversed, be very careful of what you say yes to. Don't just agree, ask questions, delay, give yourself time to process and then respond and then react. I do think with the Knight of Wands reversed, this is going to send alarm bells, and you may notice some people automatically distancing themselves from you before you can even distance yourselves from them. This is giving lack of accountability. Sagittarius is coming through strongly, but ultimately people who don't like to answer questions, who don't like to be accountable and held accountable, people who prefer to just disappear instead of having to fess up. So With that being said, protect your energy, work with your change in energy to create a more realistic plan moving forward. Rather than acting, wait. Be patient with yourself, be patient with how you feel, and give yourself time to process things before you figure out how you're going to react and act. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Pisces. Lots of fire in your energy, lots of feelings of injustice. Look after yourself, surround yourself with supportive people, get professional help, support, or advice where necessary. Do your research, ask your questions, make sure it's all in writing. And when you feel confident, act, stand up for yourself. And I wish you all the best moving forward. You may have messages in other signs, but until we do meet again, I wish you peace, prosperity, abundance, happiness, health, wealth, success, and joy. Bye.